Yes, I think now it's recording. Hello, my dear teachers, students, friends, and listeners. First of all, welcome to all of you. I am Ahmet Şadi Ardatürk from Istanbul Health and Technology University, Industrial Design Engineering. I hope we have a good time in this presentation. Yes, I will make a presentation with the title that you see. Within concept of sustainability, I would like to touch on a different place, different spot from the point that we all come into contact with many times. That's why I prepared this presentation. In this page, in fact, we would not refer to the pre-industry side as purely pre-industry, just pre-industry, because for a certain period of time, that the industry was in fact this sustainability continued, but when we look at the framework of history, if we are going to put what we are going to say right now, it can be called pre-industrial. So this page is called pre-industrial. Now, when we look before the Industrial Revolution, what we basically see is, what we are talking about is a lifestyle that's integrated with nature, consumed as much as needed, and in which we use nature at a level that nature can afford. This is a law that has been learned for hundreds of thousands of years. It's a law that has been transferred by experience to man in mankind history. On the other hand, at this point, of course, there is a situation such as chicken or egg or chicken, which comes first. In other words, the population has increased, the needs have increased, and there has been an industrial revolution. Or there has been a revolution and then the population has increased. Many many questions can be asked. But our main subject is not the reasons in the context. At this point, in the most basic sense, the framework we miss is that the sustainability of life is actually in itself. Because there is actually a human model that is content with what nature gives. It's kind of, pattern of behavior, like in all mammals. As we know, mammals reproduce in nature as much as their needs, such as food or water or shelter, can be met. As human beings, we did the same thing with us for a very long time, in a very long time period. Especially before the Industrial Revolution, increasing our dominance over nature by one step by step. As human being, we have existed on the earth for hundreds of thousands of years, as being that looks well at the earth, looks well at the tree, looks well at the world, and lives with it and breathes with it. In fact, there was almost no problem in that time, in that process. Despite this, I mentioned earlier which one caused which one chicken egg situation. What are the reasons? What are the needs? Is it really the Englishman's pleasure of tea, or cotton production, or clothing production, or population, or all, I don't know. Whatever the reason is, it was a revolution. It happened, and we have come to our day. And from that point on, people who will use the machines or operate the machines increase the production with these people and increase the demand with increasing production, and more production to meet more demand, more fuel used to reveal this production, more carbon dioxide footprint, 1 and 2 and 4 and 8, it gets bigger and bigger. More than anything else, this situation actually constitutes a breaking point. Of course, there are many different breaking points, but this industrial revolution is the most fundamental breaking point in our relationship with sustainability, the balance of nature or livable environment and world that can be delivered to the future, for our next generations. When we come to our day, we can see the breaking effect that I mentioned in this industrial revolution in almost everything we use, from the perfume we spray or the building we make, clothes we wear, food we eat, in everything. Because basically the materials used during the production of meal are electricity, water, gas, or the water we use during the production of garment, electricity, gas. For example, in total, they all have a very large carbon footprint. And unfortunately, we are now over the limits of the world. As a human being, we are, of course, responsible for the suspension of this limit. Of course, there are parts and thoughts or ideas or peoples that cause the ozone layer or magnetic field or that cause animals, but we all know that we are the real reason. What can I say? Human being acting like a virus. I name it like a virus, but don't let this be offensive to us. Let's just think about it. In the biological classification, we are mammals, okay? But if we look in a perspective like social classification, we can easily state that the way in which humans live now and in the last couple of centuries is actually not that far from viruses. Just come, settle, consume, and change location and start over again and again, like viruses. This form of behavior, it involves earning more, consuming more, having more. It contains a pattern of motivating people to manipulate within financial concerns or power concerns. And unfortunately, we all know this and exposed to it. This process proceeds as, for example, phone comes out and a new model of that phone comes out. After that, a newer model comes out and a better one comes out. And it motivates us to purchase. We want to buy it. In one way or another, it's slowly being worked into all of us with advertisements, images, text, or subliminal elements. In fact, what we pay attention to at this point is our individual egos, our efforts to make ourselves accept in society, like our brand interests, our desire to have, even if we don't need it, or our feeling of pleasure to buy something. And actually, we don't really pay much attention to the nature itself or its sustainability during in that process. However, in today's world, we have almost all the information we need about for sustainability in terms of architecture or materials or technology or production. Of course, we can make new discoveries, or we can invent new things. We can find something. But nowadays, we can able to design, for example, products that use chlorophyll molecules, which trees convert to carbon dioxide to O2, oxygen. We are able to design that products, or today we know how to achieve structures with materials that have zero carbon footprints, or today we have cities that live only on a solar energy, or we have people who live only with wind energy. We have the knowledge of many realities that nature offers us. And at this point, the real issue I would like to touch on a subject comes out. It's not about knowledge. Yes, you see three different sketch: information, knowledge, and wisdom. They are very different concepts, actually. If we use that idea system, that sketch on our subject, we can see this. We have all information about sustainability, for example. And I think we have the knowledge in the last 35 years, but still we don't have wisdom about sustainability. In this content, we can easily say knowing, like knowledge or information, is not the main issue. In this area, I believe main issue is about the wisdom, is about behavioral pattern. Our behavioral patterns, consciousness that creates what and how we decide, choice mechanism, a becoming. And we are still raising the next generation on a different basis. And we are still doing this on a different basis. And we are still looking at the money we can make, not design, of durable consumer goods, not a sustainable architects, or not a zero carbon footprint. At this point, my opinion, and even my critique, is that we should find the answer outside of the architecture and design, like in psychology or sociology and behavioral sciences, and also in education. Because I don't think the problem is not having the right material or not knowing the right production methods or knowing what to do and how. The problem is related to the fact that we do not have a cultural consciousness to prefer them, or a social memory and sociocultural structure to prefer them. Especially if we talk about the example of Turkey. At this point, of course, if we consider the new architects and designers among us, the perception of these people and their view of life are very different from ours. They have the chance to have all kinds of knowledge. The Z generation, which is digitally born generation, has no problems in finding information. At the point of exploration, they don't have to use conventional instruments as much as we do. They can learn very easily what everything is. Long story short, they have access to everything. But these people have very little wisdom about to use that knowledge. At this point, I use the word wisdom as being able to use knowledge. That knowledge is just knowledge, but wisdom emerges when you use it. What the Z generation needs is to give them a consciousness that will use this knowledge of sustainability, like having a behavioral pattern. At that time, generations can be raised who question what they do and why, and make more correct decisions for the natural world and the next generations. So, as a result, it's not about knowing sustainable materials or techniques or construction methods or zero carbon footprints techniques or other design technologies, whatever. It's about to able to use them. For this situation, the consciousness we need should be given to our young people, especially to the designers of the Z generation. I think it should be considered as a designer responsibility in design education. Because this world belongs to all of us in one way or another. As designers and architects, we are the people who shape this world. But we can't shape the world well enough just by making green structures, green buildings. That's why I think maybe another method is to shape new minds that will shape our world. And I believe that this consciousness should become a behavioral pattern for new generations. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope we had a good time. Thanks.